Ariyathe Ariyathe Pavidava Tingal Ariyathe. The main credit goes to Mohanlal sir. I really consider the Malayalam audience as pretty intelligent. Don't try and make a career out of music just to be famous. That Akasha Deepangal had people dancing and I was like, how? Chikku bukku raile, kalakathu paru style. Me and Rahman never had conversations so deep. I will not listen to remixes of original songs. I don't care what it is and how well you've done it. AI will be a big part of our life. There's no two ways about it. What correction you want? This is Yeshudas Ji, Jayachandran sir. I can't think of that song being sung by anybody else other than him. Am I sounding too philosophical? No.
Not really.
Suddenly, like, I'm just looking at myself, like, and I want to say, like, So, Malayalam was my lifesaver. Sujata, Chitra Chechi, they were all bang on in terms of pitching.
And the context of our conversation is basically Ravanaprabhu. Yeah. So, how has things changed? Do you get messages now of all these theatre concert videos that we just spoke about?
Yeah, thanks to Instagram.
Okay.
And Facebook and social media, I get to know about it. And of course, I've got a lot of friends here in Cochin itself, in the industry, and friends also outside the industry, who have kept me abreast with what's happening, and I'm absolutely thrilled to see this kind of a response, and that too after 25 years.
Yes.
This is my first experience.
Okay.
Although I've worked in different languages, I've never seen a re-release celebrated so much, and I think the main credit goes to Mohanlal sir. I mean, he's the draw. And to see him in this act once more is like really happening. And congratulations on the Dada Saheb Phalke Award, which has given rise to so much more. And he's also brought the industry to a very good place today. So all thanks to him.
Okay. Like you said, Mohanlal is the biggest draw, and then the biggest draw is of course your music. And it's not just Pukilu that is creating all this frenzy.
Pottu,
Kuthedi.
Yeah.
That song is something else in theatres. Like the whole theatre is singing along. And did you expect all of this to happen? Like, do you have memories of when this film originally released? How was the response?
Not like the frenzy that I'm seeing now. I think it's also thanks to Gen Z. They have no inhibition. They're able to get up and express themselves that freely. And no, I didn't see this kind of a response when it came out, although the response was very good when we had released it at that point of time. But to see the response now and the response to the music is absolutely different. Yeah.
And speaking about Pottu Kuthedi, there's a remix version as well in the end of the movie now.
Yeah.
And the re-release, there's a remix which is again creating like a concert like vibe. And people are also into Ariyathe Ariyathe as well. They're dancing to it. So have you seen all those reels and all that?
Yeah. And I have friends who keep sending it to me, and it's like, I'm freaked out, to be very honest, to see people dancing for Ariyathe on stage. And in fact, someone came and told me that Akasha Deepangal had people dancing, and I was like, how? I mean, we created that song to provoke a different emotion, an emotion of sadness, an emotion of empathy, and suddenly to see people reacting to that, I think they're celebrating more than anything else. It's not just the film. I think they're celebrating Mohanlal sir. They're celebrating the cinema industry, the content what they've grown up with. So it's more a celebration. And also one more thing is the belonging that people have brought with each other, to be able to go with their families or with their friends and to like shake a leg out there. It's brought people closer to each other. That's the thing that I see more than the film as a whole. I think it's brought a lot of people together in celebration.
So how did you initially land in this project? Like when the first version. So how did that come about, and how were the
Like any other movie,
planning,
like any other movie, it was the only thing that was very thrilling was the fact that when I got a call from Ashirwad Cinemas and I knew it was for Mohanlal also, and I think he's been the superstar all the time. The two favorites of mine is Mammootty sir and Mohanlal sir. So it was a no-brainer to just be excited and say, yeah, that's it. I mean, there's nothing else to add to it. So that's how it started.
How was the process of giving music to these songs in a different language?
Specifically, what were the inputs you were given for these couple of songs that we just spoke about?
First thing I was given was a CD of Devasuram.
Okay.
And I was told that this is part 2. And it was director Ranjit who gave me, and to be very honest, I did not want to get influenced by the music of Devasuram. So to be very honest, I did not look into it at all. I had told Ranjit that, let's just look at it fresh. Let's not have a continuation on this, but let's have another take on this. So considering the fact that it had a prelude to Ravanaprabhu, I thought the best thing is to keep the sound as live as possible and not bring in too many modern elements. Although we were sequencing and we were programming a lot, we thought why not stick to the traditional route of recording music with musicians, great musicians, bring them together and create this. So every song that is in Ravanaprabhu has got at least 80% live musicians and 20% of actually getting into sequencing and stuff like that. Almost every song, for example, Pottu Kuthedi has me drumming on it, Ariyathe has me drumming on it, and Thakilu Pukilu has got some element of live myself playing. So it was a very different experience to go back to a method like how Ilayaraja sir used to do it. Great musicians come together and then we create it. Except that here we had the time. They gave us some time to create it. So, and the process used to be we do the songs and then they go for the shoot and then they come back. So there was time between the shoot finishing and the re-recording starting. And of course, I used to focus mainly on songs. So that was the amount of time I had in between also. So that helped me a lot into creating the sound I wanted for that song.
I happen to hear you took 3 months to compose Ariyathe Ariyathe, and why did it take you so long?
Composing was not it. We composed it on a guitar. I mean, that song sounds great on just an acoustic guitar. That's how I sang it to them. Yeah, Girish Putajiri sir had written the words. So it was an experiment, first of all, to get the right lyric for the song. That first word itself, Ariyathe Ariyathe, had so many different words to it. Yeah, and me being a non-Malayali, I had to hear the meaning of it over and over again. So it was a romantic song. So Ariyathe was one word that really sat for the composition. Ariyathe Ariyathe. The moment he said it, I said, this sits more than all the other words we have given. But the time taken strenuously was the arrangement of the song, because once the song was composed on the acoustic guitar, we had 1,000 ways of organizing the song. So how do we want to go about it? And one thing that I always take into consideration is the hero. Who is the hero of the song? So first of all, doing a mature song like Ariyathe was for Mohanlal sir. To work on a song like that. You can work on a romance song, and romance song can be anything. By that time we have already heard songs by Rahman, romantic songs coming out in very modern fashion. So here we were left with how do we move into this? How do we get into arranging this? And that's what took time. Technically, that song took a lot of time. Not the composition. The composition took time by itself. We spent a lot of time trying to get the right words, trying to get the right composition. But technically, it took a lot of time for us to complete it because we were never satisfied. I remember at one point in time when I played Girish Putanjali, he said, enough, not more than this. So, but it took more convincing, saying like, sir, I mean, we are trying for something which we will be happy years later. You know, let's put that effort. I mean, it can be a 5% difference, but I'm trying for that 5% difference. And they gave me that time. Ranjit gave me that time. He said, okay, take that time. So that's how it worked.
So did you have Jayachandran and Chitra for the vocals in your mind?
They were recorded separately because Chitra Chechi had a fracture. So we had to, and thank God at that point of time, we could take data on CD. You know, there was no online, so we could just take the data on CD and recorded her. And I wasn't sure whether she was in the right position to sing it because she was also, you know, but when she heard it, she was like, let's do it now. And there's a studio in her place itself. So with that leg, she went up, she sang the song, and of course there's magic when she sings it. But it's even more amazing that through this she put the effort. So I think that's a reward by itself. And Jayachandran sir, when he sang the song, he thought he needed time. He said, see, all of us liked the song so much. That's one of the reasons why we didn't get into it like any other song. Let's finish it and go. Because there was so much of space in the song, just 5 musicians. And instead of like using computers, we were using chorus singers to fill the parts so that it's very human. And also like it's all about good musicians playing it. You know, it's not recorded that easily. You guys really take time. So yeah, I mean, it's a story by itself and I'm glad I'm able to say it. It was all so inside till now and Ravanaprabhu has brought it out. Not just for me, but for my musicians also.
No, while this song is what melody, the other one, for example, Thakilu, like it's totally peppy. And so how was the mood like while recording and
Well, we feel it. We feel it for sure. I mean, when that percussion is giving us that groove, yeah, we are sitting and dancing inside for sure, you know. We have to create that. The idea is to create. Music is all about emotion. So whether it's crying or whether it's romance or whether it's dancing or whether it's suspense, if you don't feel it, I doubt whether the audience feels it. So, and these guys, these musicians bring it out. I mean, just like I am good at what I do, they are great at what they do.
And during the recording, like were there like some punchy improvisations, beat and singing?
Oh yeah, I mean we used to sometimes record the whole thing, then come back, take a break and then say, hey, we could have done this different, and those guys will be like, let's go and do it again. The advantage that I had was I had a good studio in Chennai, which was quite well equipped with a lot of analog gear. So we were not pressed for studio time. It was about getting the right thing to go, and then once we are done with the song, we are done. But we want to make sure that once it goes out, we won't regret any of it. No, we could have done this. No, we could have done this. If you have the opportunity, do it. So that's one of the things that we stick to. Not only on Ravanaprabhu, but almost all the films I have done. I think that was one part of it where we always felt like we should not regret. I could have done this. You know, it might just be more expensive than what it is, but music is not done just for money, because most creative people are in it for the passion. They're born into it. So,
did you also get into it due to passion, music?
100%. Without passion, you should not be a musician.
How was it then?
Shall we have a flashback? Like you said, you're basically a drummer. So how did that start about like your early days?
Early music.
I think we are all inspired. That passion to do music is there in almost every human being. I think 90% of the people I know are bathroom singers, including me. We start off like that. We hear the reverb in the bathroom and we like, oh, it sounds larger than me. So we already have an idea, though we do not know the technical terms behind it. But becoming a musician, I think, is a calling. That's a completely different thing, because in school I was a musician. So in college I was a musician. There was no cultural that I have ever missed. And sometimes I used to feel like I studied in Loyola College, Chennai. But I think my biggest support was my college mates, the whole college, for that matter. Right from first year, I used to play for shows, and we used to win a lot of shows. And we had 3 bands. So sometimes I used to think like whether Loyola College was a college of music for me, or was it really about studying something else? So it just creates itself. It's a calling. You can't force it.
And so you said you were part of several bands during your college days, and after that you're entry into films. Like how did that?
After college, I had a rock band, which was a proper pro rock band called Nemesis Avenue, where we had some really accomplished musicians who were playing, and AR was a part of that band at that point of time. Though we did not play too many shows, but the influence of each show has left us remembering it like for the rest of our life. Even when we were in Nemesis Avenue, those days when we were kids, we used to play cover songs. And when Rahman came and played a song from Pink Floyd, our hair just stood. It's like, how did he get this sound? I mean, it requires a lot. So these things are just destiny, being there. But after college, I joined Ogilvy and Mehta Advertising as a film executive. So that again opened up a place where I could actually work on films, because advertising is films, it's filmmaking, and jingles are recording. So that also pushed me a lot to take my stuff and go to Rahman and have him create jingles. And some of our clients were like big clients, Pons, MRF, Lakme. So there was a certain understanding about each product, because the product was the hero. There was no hero. So we were creating something emotional around a product. So that helped a lot. But eventually, then from there, went into Lintas advertising, again into the film department. And then there was a time Rahman started Roja, and he gave me an invitation to join him. That was a no-brainer. Threw everything and said, yeah, went in. That's how it began.
So again, on the drums, like you were taking care of the percussion?
No. I was ready to do anything. There was no... Music is music. If you listen to some songs from Gentleman and all, or like before that, or even Roja, it's like Rukumani, that part, he just said, let's do some vocal percussion. Chalo yaar. Let's find some new word. Some nonsensical word which could be rhythmic or melodic, or it was not just playing percussion. It was learning the whole thing. It was like going back to college. And Rahman's a true professor in every sense, right from the beginning. So even that ho, that there, we were ready to do anything. It was just about being on a record, being out there, being present, being available. I believe in today's music, it's a collage of people who come together, and if anyone says it's just me, there are very few people who can say that. I give it only to people who can write notations like a Raja sir, because they're very clear about what they want. And that is back in time, like a Mozart or a Beethoven who wrote notes. There was no need for improvisation because everything was written down. It was like a mathematical score. So later on, things changed. And the sound changed, the way we recorded changed. So that way it's been an evolution. It's still growing.
When did you start singing? Like before, when you were performing on stage?
Like one of these days where I was seeing this oh and all these things, and suddenly I was greatly influenced by Michael Jackson. So there were ads where I sang like Michael Jackson before that. But Tamil, no. I have never had the guts to go out there and sing in Tamil. But when Chikku raile happened, and I was to sing that, the localized Tamil helped me. It was not something where I could not understand. And Rahman was very aware that my delivery is not going to be anything near anyone, because I had no influence of anyone. First time, sang it, didn't know. Second time, sang it, not a feel. Third time, sang it, I was on the film. But the only difference was, The first time I sang it, even today you'll hear from other singers also talk about the way Rahman recorded. There was just one metronome and one shruti. And it's like, sing a song. So now you're going to deliver it with no influence. At least there's some percussion behind. You'll say, okay, it's groovy like that. Or if you had some guitar playing, you'll know what the thing is. But he created the music after the song, after singing the song.
Oh, okay. So all that sax, everything.
Everything. I didn't even know there was a sax in the song. Not even the second time. The second time he had organized. It's like he had actually used the bass guitar from a percussion. So it was like very interesting the second time. But that's about how much I heard the second time. It was the third time when I sang it that the sax was there, that this was there. But by that time I had sung it twice. So the confidence was there. And there were some lyrical changes, but you already know the tune in your head. So, and of course, the first time we did our own harmonies. There was something like 15 to 18 tracks of just the voices alone, which was the first time, because usually singers sing one track. They come and they sing one track and that's about it, because the hero has to lip sync it. So obviously the hero can't lip sync so many voices. But here the music by itself was so different, and film, the choreography was so different that for the first time we were actually listening to Western music in our own language, arranged as Western music, having not taken away anything, to alter anything or like to sacrifice anything. Everything went into it the right way. And if Rahman needs to get an award, it's an award for patience. The way he brings things out from each musician, from each singer, is a very different thing. So even after I sang the song, I never thought it's going to do what it did to me. Yeah, until the film came out, and yeah, it changed my life.
Petta Rap was kind of totally a new song.
Genre.
It was funky and
Yeah.
What was the kind of...
I used to be a DJ. I was one of the DJs in the 1990s or late 80s. I used to play a lot of stuff, and rap was very new. But that influence was there in terms of like, so even right in the beginning, I think when we actually worked on a rap, it was for May Madam. Okay. But somehow Rahman felt it didn't fit the score, so he said, we'll come back to it. So we waited, and when Kadalan happened, and the face was Prabhudeva, yeah, we thought, he came up with this and said, let's do this now. And
like you wanted that raw Chennai...
No, the word Petta Rap gave birth to the whole thing. Because it was like, Shankar gave me loads of words. I said, let me know whatever you can think on Petta. Sarayam, Karwad, Manja, Gilli, Lo. So I put that all together rhythmically. And Shankar was always there to take the call on how to guide this, because I can rhythmically put it together. But the concept was Rahman and Shankar. To take Petta Rap, make it localized, go to somewhere like a Kalakshetra colony, and then do this song. That had nothing to do with me. It's a complete genius of theirs. That's all. I delivered the song. And the influence of rap was always there. And the sound also was there, because we were always like listening to new stuff over there. At that point in time, we had the 90s music was really popular in the discotheques at that point. And also we could play one whole song and then go to the next song on the dance floor. Today, 8 bars, 10 bars, and they've gone to the next song. So I think people had a lot of patience listening to songs. That made us really work on stuff. Today we are living in a land of hooks. Yeah. And I hear that, the patience level is about 8 seconds. So now when I have to think everything 8 seconds and then think the rest of the song.
But even in this generation, don't you come across people still celebrating?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My nieces and nephews, most of them, now almost all of them are in the US. they listen to songs old style. They listen to 80s, 90s, 2000s. Their vocabulary of music is quite big. They still do. I can't deny that. But I'm saying this Insta as in a way an advantage because anybody can be out there. But the disadvantage is that because of so much of saturation, you don't give yourself enough time. If a film has 5 songs, you're just going and listening to that one hook and the next hook and the next hook. There's a lot of work that's gone into it. So there are people listening to it. But social media has compressed it a lot.
How was that life, that vibe in the late 80s, 90s when you were doing many things together? Like
Singing, composing.
singing, DJing, performing, everything. Like,
When you compare the eras both now and then,
I would give it to my age, a restless age. You just can't sit at home. You got someone say that the concert, run. Someone says there's something which has got to do with recording, run. Because these were not available like today. Today you can sit at home and have your own, just buy yourself a Macintosh and you have your entire studio. Those days it was expensive. So every opportunity was a learning opportunity and you have to thank God that you were earning with it. Not only was somebody teaching you, they were paying you to learn. So never wasted an opportunity that way. So I think the more you expose yourself, the audience starts to help you. The people start to help you, but you must put yourself out there. A lot of musicians I know who are great, but who have this shyness, to put yourself in front of an audience. But unfortunately, music is for the audience. If you want to make music for yourself, then there's nothing wrong in it, but the rewards are in front of people, not by yourself.
of all the songs you sang in that period, from Chikku to Urvashi to Petta Rap and everything, what was more creatively satisfying?
When I did my album Minnal,
Minnan.
because that was my first stint at composition, composing music, arranging music, and we had already done that. From Nemesis Avenue time, we have recorded. It's not that I was new to recording, but the satisfaction of doing something in my own language, composing in my own language and taking it across to my audience was the most satisfying experience. And to have that kind of a team, a dream team to work with, a studio like Media Artists, I think it is completely, like Rahman say, Yella Pugadam Irevanukke, it is Yella Pugadam Irevanukke. You can't do it without it. Yeah, it's a team effort.
How did Rafi Makatin approach you for Punjabi House? That was your first Malayalam film.
Yeah, I think same way. First of all, I was not even aware that Minnal was such a big hit in Kerala. And slowly I started getting aware of it. Wow, I mean, it can actually move states. And it was a big hit over here. And so when Rafi spoke to me, he said, I've got this idea. And by that time I'd finished a Tamil film called Coolie. And he said, I have a film and the title of the film is Punjabi House. I think that title got me. I said, Malayalam film, Punjabi House. He said, wait, I'll come and tell you the story. So I said, okay. So he came and told me the story and it was hilarious. The very story was so hilarious. It's like, really? And I thought the scope was so wide, given the story. It's actually happening in a house where Punjabis live. And it's a Malayalam story. So why not fuse? Because when I say Malayalam for me is melody and rhythm. They're very good with percussion as well as melodies. And no matter, I feel like you bring whichever language into Malayalam, it'll work. It's a fusion. Because the language itself gives that scope. Like Pachapavida and like Akasha Deebangal, they're so different from each other, but they just sit right. So when he told me the story, yeah, I was quite happy with the story itself. And I was apprehensive, I can tell you that. I was very apprehensive. If these guys didn't give me the confidence, I wouldn't have. But the fact was that one thing that I was very clear about was that I don't have a history in terms of Malayalam music's influence. I don't have that influence. So will they let me do my own stuff? And yeah, they said, yeah, if you can give us a sound, and on top of that, they were like, can we use this song from Minnal, Mugilenda Malayanna? So I said, you can use it, but as long as I can create it differently. I don't think for your story, this arrangement works. This is not the arrangement for your story. I think if you want to use it, we'll have to completely redo it. They agreed, and that's how Yeriyunna Karalinde, that song happened. Where the arrangement was different, where we brought in instruments that were closer to the audience than taking it really modern, because I didn't require that kind of a style. I wanted something little more speaking to the situation than a loud, here I am kind of a voice.
I still find a lot of people, like even after so many years, using Nandalala for these group dances. I've heard DJs here play Tengashipatnam songs for New Year parties.
Yeah.
Even after so many years.
Yeah.
So I think it's connecting with the mood, that particular song.
See, we are consistently reinventing. Our sounds are changing, but like if I say Nandalala, hey Nandalala, I would have heard this like hey Ata Atorama Devi Sri Devi. I'm saying it's been there. If you come and say like, hey guys, I've created this melody, I'm the new thing. No, it's already existed. Kunguma Puve, Kunchipurave. Now if I was to do a remix on Kunguma Puve, it will work. The recall value is so huge. But the arrangement of today's instruments, I think bring a new... It's like fashion. You're not going to wear the same shirt for the next 100 years. It's going to change. But you are not going to change. Your fashion is going to change. So I call you the melody line. I call fashion the arrangement. So certain things won't change. You can say Nandalala is such a good song created by you, but I was also a person before creating that song going into inspirations and thinking, what can I do to do this?
So did you have these, like, for example, that track, like, did you have a reference? Or
No.
On those
We never looked at any song. But no matter what song you sing, I'm telling you it's been done. I mean, you can tell yourself you're the original composer of this. I mean, come on, yeah. Go back in time, you think you're going to be anywhere close to Mozart? Or like Beethoven? Come on. I mean, let's not get to a place and be that pompous. They've already taught us. We are recirculating it. Like, that's all it is. So today when you make a new dish, you can't tell yourself like, I created, hello, rice is rice in its raw form. You can't create new rice. But you can create a new dish. And I think it's the same to do with fashion or cooking or music. You have to respect the chef as much as you respect a music director or a director. I think each one puts their own effort into it. And it becomes easy when you give yourself that space instead of like trying to restrict yourself. Am I sounding too philosophical? No.
Not really.
Suddenly, like, I'm just looking at myself like, and I want to say like, oh. Yeah.
Also today there's this trend of using retro tracks in news films. Like even there's this track in Independence called Oru Muttam Thedi Durapoi. That song is still viral. That song was there in this film called Sahasam, which released a couple of months back. So how do you see that? In Tamil it is locations like...
Come on, someone is keeping the song alive.
Yeah.
Why not? I don't have a problem.
With remixing or anything.
Remixes by itself I won't listen to. Remixing a song for the sake of a situation is different from remixing a song and listening to it like an original. It has its own purpose. Like in this movie that you're talking about, it might have had its own purpose for why they did it. It wouldn't. But an original song is an original song. Like Hamma was composed as an original one, and then we had a Hindi version of it. Although the Hindi version had some very different sounds and this thing, we still relate to the original one. So I don't know how it is. I don't listen to remixes when I'm listening to music.
Like Hamma had polarized
Yeah.
It's like many still prefer the old.
Yeah,
They were like,
Yeah.
should not have been done.
Yeah, but let's not take away the fact that even products we have now are repackaged. It doesn't mean the product is bad. It's repackaged, but I think it should have its own purpose. If I was to listen to a song, I'll always go back to the original. I won't listen to a remix because you'll have put that kick drum over there and taken away the very essence of the space that I need in the song. Like if I say Muttam Tedi, there's a guitar playing, there's an acoustic guitar guy who's playing. I'm missing that part if I listen to a remix. But probably when I see the situation of the film and why it's used like that, I might agree to it because it demanded that. That's all. So I'm not going to make a point on remixes being used for films, but I'm going to make a point saying I will not listen to remixes of original songs. I don't care what it is and how well you've done it. An original song is an original song because it's organic. You have synthesized it. A remix song means synthesizing it. You're not going to take a remix and make another. You can only recreate. You're just synthesizing the whole thing. So what's the big deal? What's your effort?
But also, someone who composes rap, do you think a composer should be informed while his song is being taken for a new film? Where you...
That's wasting your time, yeah. The record company is the one who's supposed to take it. If the record company decides that because they've bought the rights, I want to do this, I'm not going to spend most of my time going and fighting over this because you either respect what I've done or you don't respect what I've done. Now, what am I going to do fighting with you and coming and saying so? And I look at the positive side of it. The crowd loves it. The Gen Z loves it. Yeah, why not? Let it happen. Yeah.
Because now there are many who say the original composers or even the singer should be given royalty.
Ethically right. Ethically, because that amount of effort has gone into creating a song, you've just bought the rights. But if you're going to say like, I own the sea, in every way the copyright, the creative copyrights of a song anyway belong to the composer. Anyway, so you can fight about it, you can. But I only look at the situation. Has this song brought happiness? Has this song done the things that I couldn't do? Like when the song was released, it did not do what it's doing to the song right now, right? That's a reward by itself. Let it be. It's okay. Let them enjoy it. Although in the background scores, one thing I've noticed very regularly, these guys will come and copy the songs for the background score. You know what I mean? Everything. They'll just copy it bluntly. I know it's mine, but at the end of the day, I always thought like if it's going to help someone, let it be. I'm not going to take anything with me, so why fight about something? It's okay. What has to come will come, but I've seen this as a regular practice. My songs are created and then somebody comes into re-recording and they compose. Yeah, given a tune already, anybody can compose, anybody can do anything. But they wanted to do that and neither did they have great budgets. So then I used to think like neither is this guy making anything major out of it. And why not just be okay with it? Why make such a big deal of it? So I let it be. It was a conscious choice, nothing to fight about.
Having worked in so many different industries across India, like when you're composing a song or you're working on a project, do you keep the listener in mind as well?
Yes, of course, because when I'm creating a song for a Telugu audience, Tamil audience, Kannada or like Tamil, there are very subtle differences. Even in terms of arrangement, there are very subtle differences. And one of the other reasons why I took Punjabi House was like a Malayali audience, capturing the heart of a Malayali audience is really tough. They are pretty intelligent because they come from a land of music anyway. They have a very rich culture of music, dance. So for me, to get into the Malayalam industry coming from Tamil and being able to win the hearts of theirs was something really special for me then and even now. Because I really consider the Malayalam audience as pretty intelligent. They're not someone you can take for granted in terms of melodies or rhythm. So I found it actually easier because I had so much to give in terms of musicians, in terms of music, in terms of percussion, melody. And by that time, Tamil had already slotted me as this pop singer, Urvashi, Petta Rap, this thing. So he has to be this. Malayalam rescued me. They made the musician out of me because I didn't do all that jazz and that pop and that rock to come and sing pop songs. It's just that it happened. Like I said, I never said no. That gave me a career by itself. No doubt about it. I'm thankful. But that's not the whole part of me. Malayalam gave me that. It gave me that space and said, like, who comes and says, like, I want a classical song. I could never imagine somebody after Chikku really coming and telling me, hey, I want a classical song from you. But here they recognized it. They could feel like they had something, like I had something and they could see it in me. What I was also not ready to bring out. They said, no, you can do it. When I was doing Runway, after doing Shaba Shaba and then with Joshi sir and all, it's like, hey, why don't we do a complete classical song where, it's a morning, it's a puja song. That's how Pularil was born. And when I finally made the song and composed it, they were like, wow. But along with them, even I was like, wow. That's the opportunity given so that you can do something because we have got so much of influences of so much. That the Malayalam audiences, the Malayalam industry, the directors gave it to me. I wouldn't have got that anywhere else but here. So I owe it to this industry. So Malayalam was my lifesaver as a musician, where I could come in and actually literally do something else and given that opportunity. Yeah.
Was it scary working on a different language? Lyrics is in a different language. People speak a different alien language. How was the working environment?
Good question, because I never thought of it. I really never thought of it. I think coming from where we come from, India, and being in advertising, sometimes we used to work on an ad in 14 languages. So one thing that came into me very clearly was like, the same melody line could be sung in Gujarati, in Assamese, in Telugu, in Kannada. And so, come on, if they are ready to take advertising, my thing was like, it's the same influence. We are talking to the same people. And there's Hindustani music, there's Carnatic music. And Hindustani and Carnatic music was, as a drummer, I was playing with fusion greats like Bala Murali Krishna, Vikku Vinayagram sir, Thiruvarur Bhakta Vachalam, or like L. Subramaniam. I've played with all of them. So there was a classical influence anyway. It was not like I was suddenly thrown into it and said, create a classical song. Sometimes I used to ask them also, can we just go a little easy on this? They'll say, no, we want this beat over here in this song. So it's not like I have not asked also. But the opportunity was what I'm thankful for. To look at 5 songs and say, okay, we got 5 songs in this film. Let's do it. And I love the hybrid version of songs where I can bring in musicians. Today the song lasts very less because it's synthetic. Everything is programmed. So yes, it's instantly very attractive. But as time goes, there is no dynamic in it. Like a kick drum is going the same dynamic on and on and on. So probably at that initial point of time is there. But in reality, you don't play a kick drum like that. There's so many dynamics that you have. Your hand is playing different. Your right hand is playing different. Your leg is going. So you're not playing like everything like, they call it 0 to 127. Everything is 127, 127, 127. No, we don't play like that.
Subtle differences.
It's like even if you just heard a dynamic in it, that dynamic can come only when you're expressing it live. If you want to program like that, you got to be a genius programmer. Not that there are no programmers, but you got to be really good at it, at understanding, okay, when you're programming, you must understand the instruments itself. You can't take a veena sample and play it like a piano. It will sound horrible. Imagine playing a chord on a piano, on a veena. So you have to understand, okay, veena is this, a piano plays this, a ghatam plays it, it gives it to you. But unless and until you're a musician who has played with live musicians, it's very rare that you actually land up doing things that a human does. You make it very robotic. And yeah, it works initially. It works instantly, but longevity is the problem. Longevity comes from live music. That's why even today, you can't get anything close to a Mozart. When you listen to, it's created by live musicians, 200 men and women playing it. So I call it 200 hearts. Here it is one composer with one heart asking the robot to keep doing something. I think the universe is so angry, it says like, enough, I've got AI coming in. They'll do it for you. You can take a break. So live music is going to exist. Someone who's going to play a guitar, someone who's going to play a piano, someone who's going to play a veena. Because live music by itself is healing, learning it. You know, when you practice over and over and over again, there's something that happens to you. That is not possible with machines. Although it can give you a certain result that you can be really like, wow. But unless and until you play the instrument, you will never know what it is.
How do you go about selecting the musicians? Like, do you have a team?
Yeah.
So you have a regular team for?
There's nothing called a regular team, but I've played with so many people that I have a list of them. When I say a flute, I know among the flute players for that particular song who will work, or a mridangam player. I know at least so many mridangam players who will suit this song. So, because we come from an era where we used to deal with musicians, we all know each other. You know, so
Still from the old school, like you give.
Oh no! There are a lot of young guys who are. Don't ever forget, there are young people who got the same maturity happening as I started out with, or like Rahman started out with. Don't ever give up. Not everybody is going that way. There are some. I've taught students. I have actively taught students who are interested in live music and jazz and stuff like that. They're very organic in their process. They want to do this. There are a lot of people who say like, no, so I don't want to get into films. I like to do this. I like to play jazz. And it's like, hey man, you know, don't you want to earn? Don't you want a career? No, I like this. So I call it a spiritual path. There is no this way and that way. There are people who go to church every Sunday and come back, but there's somebody who splits and goes to Himalayas. Both are spiritual. You can't say which one is which. But the choice is yours. So I would say like, there are young people who will still come up and will head. There will always be somebody. When we thought Ilayaraja sir was it, suddenly there happened one 26-year-old guy who just came and blew all of us. You know, so there will be the next one. There will be the next one. We are not going to be left without someone. And the audience chooses that. The industry chooses.
Interest you, or who you have noted like in the current crowd?
Lots of them.
Tamil or Malayalam.
Lots of them, yeah. I still think Yuvan is doing a great job. Anirudh is doing a great job. Devi Shri Prasad, Daman, or like here Sushin. And in Hindi, you still have Shankar Eswan Loy, Preetham. No, come on, don't call them old. They're still young. You know, so there's a lot of music that's been churned out. And yeah, there's no doubt about it. Each one is offering what the best of what they have. And even the new singers, like I'm a big fan of Arijit Singh. We never knew that there was somebody going to be like that after like listening to Kishore Kumar and Sonu Nigam, and suddenly here comes one kid out of the blue and like he just stole my heart. And I go back to him for go-to in terms of like, you know, listening to him, hearing his. So there will always be someone new, and change is the only constant, they say. So that will be the next one. Let's wait and see.
You always seem like experimenting. So
Yeah.
You started as a drummer, then you went into ads, joined a band, composing, singing.
Yeah.
It's throughout your life.
Absolutely. It's an ocean. I don't think one lifetime is not enough.
So have you ever felt stagnant or stuck at any point of your?
Many times. Sadness and stuck comes without any reason also. It's not really like you have to have a reason. Oh, I didn't get a movie, let me feel sad. No, sometimes you have a movie and you feel sad anyway. I think it's got a lot to do with this faster world, and saturation of everything where success is everything. I don't think success, I think true success is contentment. And that takes a lot of time. And people say you'll find it when you're really old after you've achieved everything, like nirvana. I think contentment comes when you're not too harsh on yourself. I think most people are so harsh that there is no other way but anxiety and depression. And it's okay to lose. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to take time. I took time after Mr. Marumagan. I thought like I was caught up in the same thing. So I thought, okay, let me just do something else, evolve. I went into teaching, I started my studio, and it was a very happy decision that I made, because the pressure was not like this. The pressure to do a film is like, I have to make sure that someone is happy. Here that pressure wasn't there. And the second thing is, everyone likes money. I'm not denying the fact. But when you keep money as a focus, you lose out on life. I think life should come first, money should come later, or you lose out. Because you don't necessarily have to have what your neighbor has. And when you're content with that, you lead a better life. And if you're ready to appreciate your neighbor having that, then you are right. That's all it is. Okay, now I'm starting to sound very philosophical.
You mentioned about teaching and training students. So can
Okay.
you just elaborate a bit on that?
In sense?
So do you have a full-fledged
Yeah, I have a school.
music school?
Yeah, I have. And in fact, after that, I did another stint of becoming a professor of a university. So I went to Vijayabhumi University, and there were some 150 students, and I was there for almost a year, spending time with all of them. And I mean, I want to experience everything. I want to experience, that's what life is for me. There are certain people who are created to stick to one place and grow. But for me, I think I like the different aspects. So being a professor in university, I had this chip on my shoulder, which was bigger than a music director. To be called good morning, sir. And telling everyone, okay, quiet and sit down. Okay, that had its own thing. So, we've done one whole circle. 25 years later, I'm here because Ravanaprabhu worked. But for 25 years, I've been in the same place. You guys haven't called me. So there's a certain time. I can't blame you and you can't blame me. It takes time, sometimes a song takes that amount of time to grow. It's like slow burn. Even when we hear certain songs, instantly we like it. Certain songs we're like, okay. But it's a slow burn. After, say, a month, you literally start sinking into the song. You start liking it. And then it becomes a part of you. That's how my life has been. Not everything has been instant. And I think my own feeling is to want to experience so many things has kept me where I am. Yeah.
You said you have something, you want to do something specific for Kerala next. You have something in your mind. Anything?
Not in my mind. I want to experience the Kerala audience. Because recording is something where I'm in the studio. I don't see anyone. I put my songs out there, I do this, and I hear it's a hit. But to see the audience, and whether it's good or it's bad, to experience the energy of them is something I want to, especially after Ravanaprabhu. This is what has brought me here. In a sense, wow, I've never seen something like this in my life. So what if we actually did this? What if we brought songs from Tengashipatnam or Ravanaprabhu, and brought those actual musicians who played them? Because they also need to experience this. And play it for an audience that is so receptive right now. That's about it.
So like a concert.
Like a
There
concert.
are a lot of
Like a concert.
musicians
Yeah, yeah.
who work with him.
Yeah.
Brought out even jingles, some of the old popular ones, like where the music was probably more, the more it's kind of evergreen rather than the video. So now people are listing out, okay, this was done by this music director. You can see.
Advertising is the most thankless job.
Yeah.
Because never,
Yes.
never has anybody ever looked at an ad and said, who directed this? Who did the music? No. You want to buy Horlicks or not? That's advertising. But yes, it's like people go to work every single day. They contribute every single day in IT and so many other jobs they contribute, even like y'all. But that doesn't necessarily mean they are out there showing their face, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're lesser than you. This is a job that demands you to show your face. There are many people who don't want to show their face. Not everybody is looking for exposure. Not everybody is looking for fame the way we think it is. Oh, we all want to be famous. There are many people, even in this line itself, like Rahman's engineer Shiva Kumar. It's a huge thing for him and the camera, for him to face the camera. Such a shy person, but such a talented person. So I am saying, like, not everybody is looking for facial fame. They are probably looking for recognition, but so many other ways. That's the way it is.
You were one of the first singers who did a rap in Tamil, like Petta Rap. It blew up. It was such a hit. Now rap has become mainstream. Have you seen how it's evolving and the gradual rise of it?
Rap is a lot of energy. And today's youth have a lot of energy. So it's a form of music which is very expressive in terms of the lyrics matter on rap. Rap is basically slave music. And rap is also was there in India without lyrics. It's called Konnakol. So this has become a part of mainstream music, not just here, but internationally. Including Grammy Awards was not ready to recognize rap as a form of music for a long time. But today it's become recognized. So I think it's all over the world. It's not just here. But you can do a lot of good with it because people are listening. Like, for example, Petta Rap, there are stage shows where I've gone and said, Indri and Nanale, and I just handed the mic and they finished the song. It's got that kind of power because people remember the lyrics. So, yeah, today it's happening. You can't stop something. That's good.
Do you think jazz is also...
Jazz will always remain. Jazz is an expression of a musician.
And where are you at home? Is it jazz, rock, rap, classics? Where are you more in?
Right now, I don't listen to so much. I think sometimes being quiet is music by itself. Silence, silence doesn't have to be sometimes being silent is music by itself. Without silence, music can't exist. We need that in between. Silence makes music. So now it's less of who's playing what as compared to what means something to you. It's not about commercial. It has to mean something. And if it means something, yeah, otherwise we'll wait. So since I spend a lot of time in the studio, I happen to listen to most sounds. Let's create something. Today you can create sounds. Today you can make songs with any kind of sounds. Sampling is the new technology. So I can just take your voice and I can make sure that just a sample of your voice and I can create something with that. So it's a very different space where I'm in compared to listening to music. Yeah, I do listen. Can't say I don't. But I prefer to just keep it a little empty nowadays than fill it all the time.
How do you see AI coming into music? Because
AI has come into music.
Yeah. So one of your recent interviews, like 6 months back, I saw one of your interviews where you spoke about how it lacks soul. And then one of your recent interviews.
I take my word back because I myself, yes, it is the future.
And this happened in a span of just 6 months.
Yeah,
Right.
it's that fast. It is the future. There's no two ways about it. But even to be a great prompt engineer, you need to be a good musician. You need to know what you want. If you're going to tell AI, just create happy birthday in a Hindustani raga, it will create it. But do you understand what it has created? Do you even understand what you said? So just because it's AI doesn't mean that it has given you the license to become a musician. A musician is different from a normal man prompting AI also. And as time grows, AI will be a big part of our life. There's no two ways about it. There's no chance. And I said, lack soul. I created a song and I had tears. And I wanted to tell myself I created it. But I know I didn't, you know.
Have you ever had a chat about your Malayalam works with Rahman? Considering he had a connect with Kerala in his early days.
Me and Rahman never had conversations so deep. There was more, it was about music, about gear, or a lot of silence. And yeah, it was comfortable silence, not a awkward silence. Worked. It gives me space, and I am still blessed because everyone takes my name when Rahman comes up, but Rahman's worked with so many geniuses. I think so many of them owe it to him. You know, so yeah, I keep saying the same thing. There was not much conversation ever. My conversations with this. Sometimes I used to go days without having any conversation. Just, have you finished this? No, okay. Then he goes about doing his thing, and even when I sang my songs, my contribution was just singing the songs. There was nothing as, like, you know, in his music. I did my music very separately in Malayalam and Tamil and stuff like that. My influences were very different. It was like based on where I come from and what all the influences that I have. Of course, he had a part to do with my growth in a big way. But my influences were many more than just being one person.
Like when we talk about your music in Malayalam, it's predominantly those Adipoli songs, those fast numbers. But you've also done something like a Theri Rangamutle from Madatulli Kalakam, which is the OG lullaby of this generation. So, yeah. So, do you have any memories of composing that track?
Oh yeah. I mean, that track itself was, first of all, really for a mother. And the story was so, I mean, the story itself was heart-wrenching. Yeah. And I remember when I had composed the song and I sang it to my producer, Chotta Mumbai. He had tears. He just started having tears, and then it was not even the lyric was written. I'm talking about at that point. And when the lyrics were written down and heard the whole thing, we took a track voice. And then I thought like, okay, the best way to bring emotion into this song is nobody's going to play separately. Everyone's going to play together. You're not going to escape this. You're going to be a real musician and you're going to play this. You're going to get into the song. So that song has got the oldest method of recording that I went back to. One metronome, everyone plays together till start of the song, till the end of the song. There is no in between. We are going to play it. So we rehearsed it over and over and over again. And then finally when we played it, the kind of musicians who played it brought the whole thing to another level. And the face of it, Jayachandran sir. I can't think of that song being sung by anybody else other than him. The way he sang it. And after the song was done, I think our reaction was just silence. I mean, what to say? How to react to something like this? And even when the movie came out and we saw the women, the doyens of Malayalam cinema over there, backing this song with Navya and Dilip, I mean, it became an immortal song for Malayalam. We knew it. There are certain songs when you do, you just know it. Like Ariyathe when we did, somewhere we know it. Okay, it's happening somewhere. Like that Teri Rangamugile also was that. And a lot to do with lyrics. See, Malayalam is very deep in terms of meaning. So there was no frivolous lyrics. And frivolous, when we tried to do a frivolous song, we kept it frivolous. We didn't want to do anything beyond that. So it worked. Like I told you, a very intelligent audience. So that's a challenge. So for me, it's like jazz in Malayalam, meaning people who already know music. Many people sing very well in Kerala.
Okay. Another song from Tenkashipatnam, Odissimha Malayam Kattu. It's a very, it's a lot of emotions going around in that song. It starts off like very on a very mellow note, and then suddenly a rap comes in, and it all sounded very fresh. How did that come about?
I think first we composed the song. It was one crazy situation. It was like, oh, jab tak hai jaan jaane. You got this Amjad Khan and she has to dance. So when they said the story that she has to dance and then she's being forced to do this, I think the concept that came was the Sholay concept. It's like, wow, I mean, it's a forced way of making someone. So first the song was done where I thought, even though she's dancing, there should be a sadness. Because nobody who's forced can sing really happily. So the melody line itself, there's a certain sadness to it. And when you're using that sadness, my thing was somebody is actually like making fun of you, right? So that rap worked for me. That's a start. When somebody is pushing someone, it's like one alternate idea, so alternative to the sadness that she's going through. So that's how that worked. So I suggested, I said, when she's doing this, there must be something actually, provoking her. Something has to provoke her. So they also thought the idea was good. So I went and did a rough track on that. And it kind of worked. So then we brought the line even before the rap. So we thought, okay, now let's take the line and put it before. So she starts without any music, and then we get into the rap, which is like a provocation, and then we get into the song. That was the idea. So it's got one anxiety, one depression, one provocation. There's so many emotions in it. So creating a song with so many emotions was complex, but we wanted to make it as listenable as possible. So like I told you, my first thought was Sholay. When Basanti starts dancing, and so that was the concept. So I had to go to that to just think, okay, this can happen, but applied a new idea to it.
One of your frequent collaborators was Mohanlal. She sang a lot of songs for you, and particularly in Malayalam. All of them did really well. How was that experience of working with Mohanlal, who had such a catchy vocal?
First was her timbre. She was very unique. No matter what songs I did with her, she always gave me more than what I was looking for. So, my first working with her, opportunity to work with her came with Coolie, my Tamil film, in which there was a song called Vaamane from Minnal. I had used it in Tamil for Coolie, and SPB sir sang it along with Swarnalatha. So I already had an idea of how she sings, but I did not know that she would deliver so beautifully in Malayalam. So when she sang Nandalala, I realized like the potential was amazing with her. So working with her was, in fact, actually a breeze. Giving her the lyrics, the way I sing the song to her, the way she adapts to it was. I've always had the blessing of working with some great singers. There have been times when I literally took my hand off and said, I'm not saying anything more, you just do it. Because they just took the song to another level. So one of them is Swarnalatha. The kind of timbre she has is very unique. And more than anything else, there was nothing more to her than music. She would come in and there was not even 5 minutes, she was ready. So it is not her, but we had to be ready for her. And once we gave her the song, she was ready again. So it was easy to work with her. It was easy to build something, she's good in classical also, which unfortunately I couldn't use her on that. But she's extremely good in delivering emotions. Extremely good. So when I worked with her, I found that any song that she sang, she took it to another level. So I wanted to work with her. Unfortunately, we've lost something so good. The industry has lost something so good in terms of Swarnalatha, Balu sir. They are can't be replaced. Can't. It's not the voice, it's the way they understood things. It's the way they applied it. That, I'm sure some youngster right now is being groomed to be the next, we never know, SPB or Swarnalatha.
How was working with SPB?
Total professor student. Totally, it's sometimes I remember when he was singing in the studio, I gave him the song, he said, you sing. I said, sir, I can't sing in front of you. He said, until you sing, I'm not singing it. So I had to literally, so his way of encouraging people was so different compared to the other seniors. The other seniors had their own way, but SPB sir was accessible. He was accessible, he was walking on ground. So he was someone who's divine, who's so down to earth. You just felt comfortable. He just made you feel comfortable. There were songs, and I remember giving one song. He said, Suresh, do you know how old I am? I said, yeah. He said, reduce the pitch. So I had to take the track all over again into Serato, reduce the pitch, and then come back and work with him. So he was very straight, very frank. There was non-political person. What he said, he meant. What he was. That's about it. And you could never make him do something that he didn't want. If he was, there was one song I remember when he came and said he heard it, he said, not my song. You need a youngster for this. I said, sir, but not my song, Suresh. So that is seniority that you can't do anything about. That's why I said it's like a professor student. He knows what he wants, he delivers what he wants, and he's pitch perfect. That is something that today's vocalists, many of them, use pitch correction. Yes, it helps, but those days, what pitch correction? They used to come and Swarnalatha, SPB sir, or Sujata, Chitra Chechi, they were all bang on in terms of pitching. If you heard it and you were okay, this is okay, they wouldn't let it go. That's the difference. Today it's you say, they'll say pitch corrected. You understand? Because it's just such a minor difference. You really want me to sing it again? I've got the feel of the song anyway. No, those days people used to insist. Like today when you do a chorus, then a verse, then a chorus, the singer already, why don't you paste this chorus over here? I know it before you know it. But those days, they used to insist that they'll sing the chorus differently the second time. They'll sing the chorus differently. There'll be subtle improvisations. It is not copied.
And how is it working with Yeshudas and all?
Again, one more person I have not met.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Never met him.
I used to send, those days we had something called DAT, digital audio tape, and we used to send it to him and he'll tell us when he'll sing it. And I used to send a track. It's like, so I need it like this. You know, and he'll sing it and he'll send it back to me. So when he sends it back, what correction you want? This is Yeshudas ji. What I'll sit and correct him. The fact that he heard my song and he decided to adapt his voice to it and send it to me itself is a big thing. I wouldn't even touch it. There's never been a time when a dad has gone to Yeshudas ji, come back, and then we thought like, okay, he could have, no, there was no thought. This is Yeshudas sir. This is his voice. There was nothing to do with it. That's it. So he'll listen to it in his own way. He'll sing it in his own way and he'll send it. That's it. That's my maximum interaction. Whereas I interacted with SPB sir in a very different way. It was very personal. So they both are like professors for me. One is like the principal and one is like the professor in class. Yeah.
And there's this song Ella Marakam. There's like two versions, and there's a duet and there's one solo with Yeshudas. Was it like that from the beginning itself, or like?
See, we were very greedy. We wanted Yeshudas sir to sing all the songs. That is not possible. So there were certain songs where he said, like, even though it's a duet, how will this be in his voice? Because we've grown up with him, Mana ho tum. It's like, wow. You can't get that. No, that's got a certain south side flavor, which a north side will not get. So, just working with him was a very different experience. I really didn't want to go there and ever sit in front of him and say like, sir, you know what, if I would like it, no, I would like it, you sing it. That's it. There are certain people who are so good at what they do. And what they do, you learn. That's all.
Jayachandran sang the track for Akasha Deepam and Sakshi, which eventually Yeshudas sang.
Yeah. No, that's a lot of respect all of us have for Yeshudas sir. Sung more than 36,000 songs. Are you kidding me? And people take years to make one album. Blessed.
But how come you didn't sing a lot of songs in Malayalam?
I was very scared of the fact that my accent will not fit in. There were times when they asked me, but I used to say, sir, can we get something a little more authentic? So always happened. There was so much of talent. I've worked with the younger crowd also in Malayalam. Many of them are very good. So I didn't really require to put my voice out there. And second thing is, whether it's Tamil or whether it's Malayalam, very few heroes sit on my voice.
So nowadays, live recording a song is very rare, do you feel like?
So they record, of course they record live, but technology has made people a little bit lazy. Music, the moment it becomes a career, you start losing out the passion behind it. You should look at it as a part of who you are. It's a calling, it's not a career. The moment you make it a career, you start compromising on things. So unless and until you have a calling, don't get into it. Don't try and make a career out of music just to be famous, because it's very short-lived when your mind works like that. Because music is something that's supposed to last lifetime or lifetimes. So it's that serious. Done? Awesome. Thank you guys.
Petta Rap.
Yeah, Mike can say.
You can choose the songs. You'll have to give us a few of them.
வாடகை கரண்ட் முறை வாசல் பாக்கெட் பால் புல்ல குட்டி ஸ்கூலு ஃபீஸு நல்லெண்ணெய் மண்ணெண்ணெய் ரவை ரேஷன் பாமாயில் பச்சரிசி கோதுமை பத்தல காசு கொஞ்சம் கூட பத்தலையே ஒரணா ரெண்டானா உண்டி எல்லாம் உடைச்சு நாலனா எட்டனா கடனை உடனே வாங்கி ஹேய் ஒரணா ரெண்டனா உண்டியெல்லாம் உடைச்சு நாலனா எட்டனா கடனை உடனே வாங்கி அண்டா குண்டா அடகு வச்சோம் 5 பிச்சு எடுத்தோ பத்தல ஞானப்பழமே நீ செவ்வா பேட்ட ஞானப்பழமே.
Wow.
I've danced to this song when I was in school on stage.
These are the greatest awards when you see somebody like enjoying it. I mean, that's the reward of music.
And a song that you want to sing.
From Ariyathe Ariyathe pavidava tingal Ariyathe itura maragandarvayamam itura naga sangeeda sallabam alanuriyuma shaata theerum adilamrudu peyumi elam yamam Ariyathe Ariyathe pavidava tingal Ariyathe. Anything else you guys can think of?
I want Chikku because and this is a personal request too because I think I was about 10 years old when Chikku 9 or 10. And at that time, at some random wedding party, I sang that song on stage. Today, my son is 10 years old and it's one of his favorites. Like every time I go in the car. So when I said I was going to meet you today, he's asked me, I need his autograph and I asked him to sing Chikku.
Wow.
So it's a personal request.
I'll sing it for him for. This is beautiful. சின்ன பொன்னிவ படிப்பது எத்திராஜா மனசையெல்லாம் செலவை செய்யும் சொட்டு நீளம் இவ பார்வையில் உருவாச்சா வயசு பசுங்கள விழியில பிடிச்சா சிக்கு புக்கு ரயிலே கலக்குது பாரு ஸ்டைலே சிக்குவாள மயிலே இவ ஓகே நான் அடி தூளே.
Great.
Thank you.